On the morning of Wednesday, January 20th, 2007, a jogger on his morning run discovered the body of Brenda Tellerman in the tall grass just outside of Lauderdale, Tennessee. The town was best known for temporarily decriminalizing driving under the influence and for having a literacy rate on par with rural Bangladesh. The Lauderdale police arrested Brenda's on-again, off-again husband, Luke, the fireworks man, Peterson. Luke's arrest record was one of sizable length. His past crimes included selling fireworks outside of a daycare, using Craigslist to start a militia, and attempting to lynch 2 members of the Blue Man Group. Luke was convicted of the crime and now waits on death row at Brierson Maximum Security Prison, with his appeal pending. This is Unreasonable Doubt. Upon reading up on the case, it immediately captured my attention. From an incomplete police timeline to a signed confession that Mr. Peterson later reversed, it became clear to me there was more to this case. My journey began in the small Tennessean town of Lauderdale.
Here I am in downtown Lauderdale, Tennessee. Downtown. That's using the term very loosely. This is looks like Mad Max, but the people have fewer teeth.
But my investigation was not so much about Lauderdale. My investigation was about a man, Luke Peterson. I knew the only way to dig deeper into the case was to speak with Mr. Peterson himself, and I arranged to meet with him at the prison.
Hey Luke, it's Steven calling.
Oh, hey Steven, how's it going?
Good. I just wanted to give you a call and see if maybe I could come down to the prison sometime this week and talk with you.
Yeah, you can do that. That should work for me. Yeah, come on down.
Great. When's best?
When's best for me? Well, I'm pretty much available from now until they execute me. I guess that would be. Yeah, I'm pretty free.
I drove down to the prison that afternoon and finally met with Luke, the fireworks man, Peterson himself, and was granted entry into his cell.
So this is your cell, right here.
Yep.
I noticed there's a knife here. It looks like it used to be a spoon.
Yeah. They don't really give you. They try to keep you away from sharp objects in a place like this.
Yeah. Is that for eating?
You can use it for multiple things.
Luke showed me all the knickknacks and personal items he had collected, and I couldn't help but ask him about a sizable collection of erotica amassed in the corner.
Oh, yeah, I'm proud of that. It's probably the thing that I'm proud of the most in this cell. It's taken me a lot of time to get that. Been slowly collecting it over time, having friends, family mail it in.
After we had finished our introduction, we sat down to talk about the case. I quickly understood how a man of Luke's intellect could seem guilty to the outside observer.
Now, Luke, I don't know exactly how to ask this, but did you commit the murder?
Which murder? I mean, no. No, I didn't murder anyone. Shit. I didn't murder Brenda. I love Brenda. I love Brenda to death. To my death, not to her death. I don't even know where my gun is.
Your gun? You don't know? What do you mean you don't know where your gun is?
Things get lost. You slips your mind. You lose things. It could be in a creek somewhere. It could be in a county lake. I wouldn't look in the county lake. It's probably not in the county lake.
I decided it was best to focus on the details of the case. The one I was most curious about was the signed confession.
Oh yeah, see that was a whole thing. There was a misunderstanding really. The detective said if I signed the confession I could go to the bathroom. I remember when I was done peeing I started thinking, that might have been a mistake.
I turned the attention of our conversation to the police timeline, which conspicuously failed to detail where Luke was the night of the murder. I hoped Luke might be able to help shed some light on his whereabouts.
If my understanding is correct, you don't have a confirmable alibi between January 19th at 8 p.m. and...
March. Yeah, March.
March. Well, you mean when the police arrested you?
Yeah, that would be it, yep.
Where were you on the night of the 19th?
Well, my lawyer says I don't remember where I was that day. What I'm trying to say is I don't remember where I was that day. I don't even know where my gun is.
I left the prison confused but not defeated. Was Luke guilty? There were certainly suspicious parts of our conversation, but that still does not change the fact that there was no motive for the murder. It became clear that in order to fully understand the case, I was going to have to fully understand Luke. I reached out to his best friend, Chucky Greenwillow. Chucky was more than willing to speak with me, almost eager, and said he could verify that Luke was not with Brenda the night of the murder. Exactly the sort of evidence needed to clear Luke's name. Upon meeting Chucky in the forest near his trailer, it became clear just how passionate he was as he gave me his opinion on Luke's unjust arrest.
Man deserves process which is due. Am I wrong?
Due process? Are you referring to due process?
The process.
He received due process.
The process deserves to be done without a Geneva habeasness.
Our conversation continued with a walk around the forest, which I must admit was a nice break from the hectic life of the city.
So what's this place called, Chucky? It's quite nice out here.
Call it the shit stain.
What do you usually do out here? Did you and Luke come here much?
Oh, I mean, hell, you come out here, you know, get with nature and blast off fireworks. I ain't talking about snakes and sparklers bullshit. Like, I'm talking about fireworks. MR-80s. Mexican bang-bangs, you know.
This is where you and Luke were when he was supposedly murdering Brenda, is that correct?
Nah, man, I just thought y'all wanted to shoot off firework.
So I'm sorry, so you and Luke, you weren't here when he was supposedly murdering Brenda?
Hell no. Hell, I wasn't out here. I was at the bar getting drunk.
I thought you were with Luke. I thought you could verify his alibi.
Nah, I wasn't with Luke, but he didn't kill Brenda that night. There ain't no way.
How do you know if he didn't kill her if you weren't with him?
Luke couldn't have killed Brenda. Luke was at home watching BattleBots. Luke fucking loved BattleBots. I like the shit, but he ain't gonna miss a new one. Fuck no.
And just as quickly as my hope surfaced, it withdrew. With Chucky unable to verify Luke's whereabouts the night of the murder, it was still a he said, she said case. Despite my disappointment, I took the opportunity to learn more about Luke and Brenda.
Love like Luke and Brenda don't get no better than that. I mean, he loved her. That's why he's always with her. Jealous son of a bitch.
Jealous?
Jesus.
I'm sorry, did you say jealous?
Yeah.
As our conversation drew to a close, I realized Luke's absence had had a profound effect on Chucky, creating what I can only describe as a deep loneliness.
Hell, Mr. Reporter, man, you friendly as hell. It's hard getting friends out here. Shit, you ought to stick around. You ought to pal out with me.
I probably have to. I have some other work
Shit,
to do.
no. Hell, let's go night fishing.
I don't know. Thank you.
Let's go night fishing. Come on. I'll grab a sixer. Come back.
Yeah, no, I don't. I appreciate the offer.
Come on. Let loose. You work out today? Shit, you work out sometimes. Shit, you strong. God damn. Yeah, you stay in my place.
Thank you. No, I have to go. It was good to see you.
Yeah,
good to see you, Chucky.
No.
Yeah, no, take it easy.
My conversation with Chucky had proved equally as frustrating as my conversation with Luke. Despite everyone's best intentions, there was simply no one who could clear Luke's name. And then it hit me. If Luke was not with Brenda the night of the murder, then Luke was only half of the puzzle. If I could determine Brenda's whereabouts the night of the 19th, I just might be able to break the case wide open. I called Brenda's best friend and sister, Tammy, to set up an interview.
Hey, Tammy, it's Steven calling.
Oh, Steven, nice to hear from you.
Hey, I was thinking of maybe coming down to your trailer and talking to you for a few minutes. Would that be okay?
Oh, of course, anytime. You know
Great.
how to get here?
No, remind me real quick.
Okay, so you're on the main road, and then you want to go down quite a ways until you see that gas station with the Confederate flag. You're going to make a right. You go down maybe a couple hundred yards until you see the cow, left at the cow. And
Okay,
then
are
you
there
keep
street
going
names? Okay.
No.
Okay.
You're going to see a barn and make a right. I'm near the daisies.
Okay. Yeah.
Despite the directions, I soon found myself lost.
I don't know where I am. I guess. Oh, I'm just gonna ask this guy real quick. Excuse me, sir. And he has a shotgun. All right. And we're driving away. No.
After a couple of hours, I finally arrived at Brenda's trailer, and she graciously invited me in.
Oh, this is a lovely trailer you have here.
Thank you. I just bought it. It's still on the stilts, but...
Is that a raccoon over there in the corner?
That's Tessie.
Okay. Maybe we should go
Tess!
over here.
We sat down in her dining room, kitchen, foyer, den combination to discuss the case as she prepared dinner.
So, do you think Luke committed the murder?
No. Luke's too damn stupid to commit murder. Luke'd be the type of guy to, like, kill someone and then, like, forget. When neighbors ask questions, he'd be like, oh, god damn it. Let me tell you, the first time I knew he was an idiot, he asked me where the moon was on a map.
On a map?
A map. He pulled out an atlas, started flipping around in there, and said, show me the one where the moon is.
As she spoke about Luke's innocence, I couldn't help but be curious why she hadn't done more to help him.
So if Luke isn't guilty, why haven't you done more to try to get him out?
I don't know how to say this in the Lord's way. Luke is such an idiot. If he weren't in jail, he would have killed himself on accident by now. Mistakenly ran into an axe or something. Whack. Being on death row has added 15 years to that man's life.
Despite Tammy's distaste for Luke's intelligence, I decided she was the perfect individual to help me better understand Luke and Brenda's relationship.
I mean, he loved her. He would only hit her when he caught her cheating. She would never cheat on his birthday, on Sundays, because she's a good Christian, or on Tuesdays.
Why Tuesdays?
Battle bots.
After speaking to her for almost an hour, I decided it was time to bring up the reason for my visit.
Did you see Brenda the night of her disappearance?
I saw her that afternoon. We got in this huge fight about her leaving the goddamn water running like she always do, and then it was leaking all over the goddamn place. And I said, "Bitch, you're leaving a mess." And she said, "You're a whore." And I said, "You're a whore. You married the goddamn fireworks man." So no, I didn't see her that night.
Just as I was beginning to lose hope, Tammy dropped a bombshell to turn the entire case on its head.
I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised. I was surprised when he got arrested.
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, just because I heard the cops talking and they said they didn't test nothing. None of those, DNA script, DNA, how do you say that?
They didn't test the DNA?
Oh, you just say DNA?
So they didn't test any of that?
No. You didn't know?
I left Tammy's trailer distraught but curious. Questions ran through my head. Why wasn't the forensic evidence tested? What could this mean? Was Luke part of a bigger conspiracy? I paid a visit to the county lab and spoke to the lab technician on duty.
So I don't know if there's any chance that you remember this from 8 years ago, a case, Luke Peterson, he supposedly murdered his girlfriend Brenda. Does that strike any sort of a bell?
Sure. Luke Peterson, he is third in line right now for us.
I'm third in line? Do you mean to be tested?
Yeah.
No, he's in prison. The case is over. He was convicted 8 years ago. He's on death row right now. You mean his stuff was never tested?
He's in prison already?
Yeah, he's in prison.
Oh, great. I'll cross him off the list then.
So why was his forensic evidence never tested? I don't understand.
Well, we've got a bit of a backlog.
How big of a backlog?
Going back to, I'd say 2004.
What happened in 2004?
Well, we opened the lab.
It was at that point I remembered Luke's appeal scheduled for that Friday, and I felt compelled to ask.
His appeal is coming up on Friday the 12th. Is there any way you could possibly move this ahead in line to get this tested by Friday the 12th?
Friday the 12th, let me take a look at the calendar here. So what time do we need to buy?
Noon, I guess, Friday the 12th.
Okay, and then what year are we talking about?
No, I mean like this Friday, like in 3 days.
Well, I guess
is any way possible?
Take a look. I guess you could come in one of the days this week.
It's hard to describe the hope I felt in that moment. Hope for Luke and my story. 1,000 possibilities ran through my head, but I kept my journalistic composure and continued my interview, asking about the town and its community.
I'll tell you what, I didn't grow up here. I moved here for this job, obviously. It's nice, I like it. Nice stores. I tried to coach Little League, but I never showed up. And so, like a kid, it's not important. I'm a big county person. I actually, ideally, you think it's one of those counties where you're not going to get sent to death row. That's actually what I look for. I told my realtor.
As an individual very much involved in Lauderdale's criminal justice system, I asked him if he thought it was possible for someone to be wrongly convicted.
What year was he convicted, would you say?
2007.
Almost definitely. 2007 was the year the cops, the detectives, they bought a Corvette, and then whichever had the highest conviction rate at the end of the year got to keep the Corvette. Everyone was getting convicted left and right. I heard about a guy arrested his own brother for robbing a 7-Eleven. It turns out that 7-Eleven was never robbed. Guy doesn't even have a brother.
I left the lab with a newfound hope for Luke's case. If the forensics could be tested before the appeal on Friday, Luke would have new evidence to present to the judge, not only offering the potential for a new trial, but for negligence on the part of the detectives. With a couple days to spare in the town, I set out to learn more about the mishandled case from the man responsible, Detective Morissette. an ex-NYPD detective who was relocated from the city after an internal affairs unit found him guilty of putting a Cocker Spaniel in a chokehold and planting drugs in the Popemobile.
Detective Morissette? Stevens, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit down and talk to me. I really appreciate it.
It's not a problem.
Do you mind if we just talk about the case for a minute, the Luke Peterson case?
Open and shut case as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely.
We sat down outside Detective Morissette's condo overlooking the local highway to discuss the case. He was quick to present his views not just on the Peterson case, but on his role as a detective in general.
Well, every job has a tool. I mean, mechanic has a wrench. You have your microphone. For this investigation, for the truth, I am a tool. I am a tool. I'm a great tool.
I got the impression Detective Morissette could talk for hours about his views on the justice system, and I did my best to keep him focused on the Peterson case.
So I guess the first thing to talk about is the timeline. I was looking at it. It says Luke and Brenda were together at 8 p.m.
Correct.
I'm just sort of wondering how you put this timeline together.
That's irrelevant. Just look at the guy. I mean, Mr. Peterson looks guilty. My instincts are fantastic, and I got the guy pegged in 3 seconds.
That's how long it took? 3 seconds?
3 seconds, absolutely. Maybe even 2.5 seconds.
Detective Morissette struck me as the type of man incapable of admitting his own mistakes, and I wasted no time bringing up the untested forensic samples.
I learned from Tammy, Brenda's sister, that the forensic evidence was never tested. I don't get that. Why?
We didn't feel like we needed it with the signed confession. If you're up by 50, you're not going to put your star quarterback in to get injured.
And in this case, getting injured is equivalent to a free man not being on death row. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess that's the analogy. The analogy's not the point. The point is, we had the guy pegged, we had the confession signed.
Yeah, which I believe he signed so he could go to the bathroom. Is that correct?
It's not our fault. He didn't pee before he left. That's not on me. He understood what his rights were. Or he didn't. I don't know. That's not on me again.
So would it be fair to say that this investigation was, totally botched from the day one?
It would be totally unfair to say
How would that be unfair? The timeline doesn't make sense.
The timeline makes sense. We have instincts. Well, what day did you get into town?
I got into town Tuesday. What does that matter? How does that matter?
What does it matter? What does it matter? You would know if the 7-Eleven right down the street.
What about the 7-Eleven?
It was robbed. It was robbed.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about now?
It doesn't have
anything to do with... Are you suggesting that I show up at a town and immediately rob a 7-Eleven? That's what I do on my investigations?
That's what words out of your mouth, not out of my mouth.
Not out of my mouth. I got that from you. You're the one who's standing here.
No, I told you that an establishment was robbed.
We're talking about this botched investigation.
I am a tool. I am a tool.
I left the detective to his tooling, taking a long drive down the highway. The details of the case played over in my head, and while I didn't know if Luke was guilty, I did know that I didn't know if he had committed the murder. The next day felt like a month, sitting by the phone waiting for the lab technician's results. And then finally, the results came. I drove down to the prison with the results, taking them to Luke's cell.
Okay, Luke, I was able to speak with the lab technician. He actually said that we were able to test the samples from the scene. I have them right here. I'm actually, I thought I'd wait for you to open these up. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
This is the big moment. This is what will sort of set you free. We can use this in the appeal. And one second, let me just look at this. It says that on the body they found your DNA, hair fibers, urine, blood, saliva, plasma, and your BattleBots fan club card.
Oh. Well, I look guilty as shit. What do we do now? Can they double arrest me? Is there such a thing as double death row? I mean, I don't even know where my gun is.
Unreasonable Doubt is sponsored by no one. Special thanks to Brian Burris, Jordan Lear, Zara Mizrahi, Kevin Noonan, Ernie Stone, Brother The, and Jake Cannon.